Here's my cue. Let me make sure I get my camera perfectly situated here. Hello, everyone. Hello. Back to the Tuesday news. What's new in multifamily? Kind of a light news day today, a news week. I think everybody's on vacation for crying out loud for the 4th, so we're not seeing much in the way of new stuff. We haven't seen any new updates on foreclosures, but what we're seeing is some activity on distressed assets as far as funds go. A couple of the one of the things I want to bring up to your speed is Lone Star Funds, which is an equity fund, has announced that they have $5.3 billion of dry powder for distressed commercial real estate. This is a fund led by Donald Quinton, who has been doing this for years, obviously. They're Dallas-based, $36 billion in assets under management. And last week, the firm closed a $5.3 billion fund raised to go after distressed assets in real estate and other sectors. So think about that for a second. They are a Dallas-based firm with $36 billion in assets under management, and they just picked up another 5.3 to go out and buy more. Now, the fund will aim to invest in ailing assets that need capital and stronger management to add value. Boy, down in that Dallas area, he certainly has a lot of those. He says they continue to seek value primarily in companies that are affected by ongoing macroeconomic uncertainty and distressed corporate credits across different markets and asset classes. So, what have they done in the past? Well, back in 2019, the fund sold off a $472 million portfolio in Long Island and New York, and a $1.1 billion portfolio in Maryland and Virginia. 2019, folks. These guys obviously know what they're doing when they're selling at the height of the market. Good for them. So that's one of the big things. The private equity giant, once called the John Show, a reference to founder John Grayken and his lack of interest in building a legacy that outlasts him. But Grayken handed the reins to Quinton, the firm's first CEO, back in April. The firm counts pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, foundations, and endowments among its investors. So good for them. They were able to make some good decisions back in 2019. All right, so let me kind of bring it. I got to talk about one of the biggest news stories out of New York is the death of a particular owner developer in out there in New York City. Real estate equity principal Brandon Miller. Originally, it was reported he was in intensive care, but he subsequently died. He was 43 years old. They are not announcing what the cause of death. There is speculation, though, that he, as they say nowadays, unalived himself. So, he was under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of legal issues with some of his properties, and he and his family had been through this all once before. Probably just thought, this is too tough. And I don't bring this up in any way. It's this when the going gets tough. Some people, think this might be the easier way to do it, to solve their problems. It's really unfortunate. Depression is a very real disease. If it looked like cancer, you would obviously treat it differently, but never take it lightly, and don't ever fault somebody for, one time I heard it said that suicide is the most selfish thing. Well, when the person's doing it, they think they're being incredibly selfless. So just, don't find fault with the person with the disease. Just understand the disease. All right, let me see. His wife, though, Candace Miller, was some well-known influencer and lifestyle blogger. I have no idea what her claim to fame was, and I don't understand many of these types of bloggers and influencers. But I guess they're doing pretty well. Some of them are doing pretty well. Also, we have not heard anything new, and I keep looking for updates on the on anything new with Arbor. Boy, it's kind of like that scene from The Big Short when Dr. Burry calls the broker to find out the valuation of the everything that he shorted, and the price of the property, price of the assets had not changed, so he hadn't made his millions, while the rest of the world is burning, and he couldn't understand why. That's kind of like where we are with Arbor, supposedly, where we're thinking that well, they're supposed to tank according to everything that Viceroy says, and it hasn't happened yet. We're just all wondering why. And it's very curious as to what's going on in that particular case. So in our world, we're still going after the hotel market. It's let me just tell you, it's an incredibly different world when you're trying to bring real estate from one asset class to another asset class. You're dealing with so many different types of issues. But I got to tell you, hey Ellie, but I got to tell you that when you do that, and you've got the team in place to be able to help you through that entire process, it's a lot easier. So that's what we're doing right now on our side of the equation, is we're building the team that can take these hotels into the conversion of multifamily property. For those of you that don't understand why we do this, just think about it from a number standpoint. And I'm not talking about the number of units or what have you. I'm talking about cash on cash return. I'm talking about the valuation, the new valuation. When you take a property from a 15 cap and you convert it and sell it at a 6 cap, you make a lot of money. For those of you that don't understand, when you have a high cap rate, it's a less valued property than a lower cap rate property. So if you buy something at a 15, you're buying it low and you're selling it high. You buy at a high cap rate, you sell it at a low. That's where you make your money. And that's exactly what happens when you do a hotel conversion. And let me explain why. The cap rate is a measure of the durability of the income. How durable, how secure is that income? If it's a volatile investment, it's going to be riskier. If it's a secure investment where the money comes in all the time, it's going to be a lot more secure. It's going to be more valuable. So just think about the durability of the income between a hotel and a multifamily. If you own hotels, you have to sell your product every single night. And if you don't sell it, you lose money. And if you have 50 to 60 to 70% occupancy on a given night, that's a good night. And so that's a very volatile. The income of that property is not very durable. So therefore, it has a higher cap rate. Now think about a multifamily. Your customer comes in, they allow you to do a credit check. They will sign a 12-month contract. They will show up every first of every month and pay you the income. And they'll show up every night to take care of that place because that's where they live. And that is exactly the design of multifamily. And that's why the durability of the income of a multifamily property is so much more stable. Therefore, it's more valuable. So if you're buying it from a hotel and you're converting it to an apartment, just by the sheer nature of the beast, you've converted from a high cap rate property to a low cap rate property. Did you wait for the market to change, like multifamily owners have to, in order and hopefully catch it the right way for them to make their money? Or did you go out there and proactively convert that asset from one real estate class at a high cap rate to another real estate class at a low cap rate? That's what you did. But it sounds great, sounds fantastic. There are a million of moving parts to it. We handle that all for our students, and it's a lot of fun. It's your typical real estate deal. There's always going to be hair on the dog. That's just the nature of the beast. But hey, that's what we do. That's why we, developers make all the big money, because they're out there creating value that didn't exist until they came along. And that is also my definition of success. Successful people are those people that created something that didn't exist until they came along. All right, so let me see if I have anything new for you. I had a site yesterday. Let me see here. Let me see. I found a new site where you can look for deals. Always. Okay, you ready for it? Here we go. I'm going to try to do a share. Just so you all can take a look. Because this happens all the time. Guys, there's a way to find deals where nobody else is looking. And this is something that you should be doing all the time. Because here, I'm going to jump on over here and you can see. Here it is. It's Associates.com. They tout themselves. Hey, Glenn, they tout themselves as a 1031 specialist. Okay, don't worry about it. I mean, that's just one way of selling the property. They can find. They can look at the deal. If they can sell the deal in a different way, they'll do it. But this particular site has a lot of multifamily properties all over the country, all different sizes, all different locations. I never heard of them before. I think they came across my my email, and so I'm showing this one to my students, to my clients, and telling, hey, go crazy, knock yourself out. Don't forget the secounselors.com. That's another one. Let me see if I can. I'll try to type it in here. secounselors.com. Yeah, here's another one that. There we go. Let's see if that's the right address. This is a great group because counselors.com. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, Society of Exchange Counselors. Definitely another place you all should be looking for deals. Getting to know these guys, reaching out to them, and also let me see, finding deals. If you they have different properties, different locations for meetings. You have to be a CCIM to be a member of this group, and you have to be a CCIM in order to get access to their properties. But if you become friends with one of these guys, they will let you in on some of the deals that they're working on. So definitely check these guys out. And you can go in there, and they used to have a lot of deals right on their website. I think they have it behind a firewall. So definitely check that out. Now, the final thing I want to share with you is something that happened again. It happened again. And that is that we were looking at a property package last night with one of my calls with my clients, and here's what happened. The guy was selling his property at a 4.35% cap rate. Wow, that's pretty steep. And we, when you look at it, it was about $350,000 per unit. It was in a nice part of California. Okay. When you dug down deep in there, you couldn't get in. When you dug down deep in there, you couldn't get in for less than like I said, $350,000 per unit. But when you dug down deep in the numbers didn't make sense. They had a price in mind what they wanted to sell it for. And 4.35% cap rate is pretty darn low, especially in today's market. When you start to buy at a 4.35, you don't have many places to go before you don't make any money. In other words, if you're going to make money at the current NOI, you have to get that cap rate down. You don't control that. The market does. And right now the market is not compressing on their cap rates. They're going up. So to buy this property at 4.35, that's a tight one. And nowadays, the best thing about what's happening in today's market is that you can use the banks. The banks are the good guys. So if your typical 25% down doesn't get you to the debt coverage ratio you need to have, then the price is too high. And in this particular case, it was so easy to know that this guy's numbers didn't work, because what he actually did for you was tell you what type of terms you need to have with the bank in order to justify a $350,000 per unit price. In other words, you have to put down, in this particular case, it was over 55% down, is the only way that you can get that debt coverage ratio to be what you need it to be in order to sell the property. And of course, they didn't even include the property management fee and the expenses. And once you add that back in there, the numbers don't work. So here's my tip to you, and then we're going to sign off. No, Glenn, I've never dealt with them, Glenn. And no, I have not. So this is just a 1031 company. Just get out there. Every day you got to be looking for new brokers. And there's one for you right there. Okay. So here's the tip that I'm going to give you, is that if the seller requires you to put down a certain amount down that is typically over and above what any other investor would have to put down, he's making the deal work for his numbers and not for yours. So in other words, in this particular case, the guy said 55% down. Nobody puts 55% down on a deal. I mean, if that's the case, why would I spend all that money on your one, and in this particular case, it was a 12-unit property. Why would I put all that money down on your 12-unit property when I can take that to another part of the country? Because money is fungible. I can take it to another part of the country and buy more property for the same amount of money and diversify my risk. So the guy, he's not going to sell the property. It was, as I said on the call, it was probably built and designed. The deal is designed for a group of doctors who are looking for a tax shelter in the form of cost segregation. And that's the only way the numbers are going to work. So that's it. That's the talk for today. Now, listen, there's no talk on Thursday. I'm out of the office on Thursday, so I won't be able to make it. But otherwise, I will see you next week. Hope you're all having a great summer. I hope you had a great 4th of July week. That was I love it when the 4th falls on a Thursday, because, the first 3 days are play days. Friday you have off. You got I took the whole week off 4th of July. It was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was good to get away. I think I'm going to do it again in August. But that'll be my vacation. So great to see you all. Thanks for all showing up. It's great to see. If anybody has any topics they want to talk about, anything you want me to teach, just let me know. Always fun to chat with you folks on new stuff. SE counselors, check them out. Sign up for them. get their updates and get to meet some of those guys and take a look at some of the properties that they're working with. They always have some really cool deals on their platform. It was great, G, to have a great holiday week. I thoroughly enjoyed it. 4th of July is my favorite holiday. It just is. It's the start of the summer. It's everything, whether it's 92. Poor Molly, my assistant, she's in Palm Springs, 114 degrees. I think she said it was. That's crazy. But, it's dry heat. It's dry heat. So everyone's okay with that. All right. All right, everybody. Great to see you all. And we will chat next couple of weeks. Talk to you soon.